Hello everyone, I'm Alex Dykes, and today we're taking a look at the 2014 Buick IntelliLink infotainment and navigation system. We are inside a 2014 Buick Regal GS right now. If you want to know more about that vehicle, then look for that complete video showing up on our channel tomorrow. And this is the same system that's also used in the 2014 Buick LaCrosse, but it's not the same system that's used in the Verano or some of the other Buick models. Those use an entirely different software set. This software is actually closely related to Cadillac's Q system, only it uses a different style touchscreen. Let's talk about touchscreens and buttons, because that's the primary difference between this and the Cadillac Q system. Down here we have normal physical buttons. You push them and they actually move. So we're on the home screen here and you get to that by the home button. We have back button, media button, radio button, track forward, backward, an eject button for the single slot CD player lower in the dashboard, volume knob right there with a power button, little selector knob right there with a menu button in the middle. The Cadillac Q system uses touch buttons. It also uses a capacitive touchscreen. And the difference between a resistive and a capacitive touchscreen is pretty simple to explain. So think about your iPhone or your Android device. It has a capacitive touchscreen. It's glass on the surface, and physically touching the screen doesn't cause the screen to move. Resistive touchscreens are more like your old Palm Pilot, where you actually push on it, and you can probably see there in the video that the display distorts a little bit because there's actually a touch-sensitive layer over the LCD, and that's what actually senses your touch on the screen. Quite a different technology. This style technology doesn't support the multi-point touch features that the Cadillac Q system does, so you can't swipe around things quite as easily as you can in Cadillac Q. This style screen also causes a slight matte look to the screen, so it's not as shiny as a glass screen would be, and it causes the image to look slightly less crisp than the Cadillac Q system. Let's go off the features one by one. First off, we're on this home screen here, and if you added additional apps, which can be added later, we're told, then they will be on additional screens that you would access via these side-by-side buttons right here. Right now, there are only these 8 icons in the system, so there's nothing to go over to. Right here in the lower right-hand corner is where you'll find your preset pop-up, and this is system presets for all manner of things, not just radio stations. You can also preset destinations, songs from your media device, etc. You can drag it up and down. You can leave it in this single row set, or you can drop it completely back down to the bottom fairly easily. Over here on the nav icon, we have the same navigation software that you'll find in the Cadillac Q system, but the big difference between this and Cadillac Q is Cadillac Q's touchscreen also has a proximity sensor, so you'll notice that those buttons disappeared from the screen. In Cadillac Q, when you actually get your hand closer to the screen, those buttons will reappear for you, whereas in the Buick system, you have to tap the screen in order to get these shortcut buttons to appear. On the top, we have our navigation shortcut button, phone shortcut button, and audio shortcut button, as well as our clock and our temperature outside there. Down here, we have zoom out, zoom in, destination, and the menu button. The menu button takes you to current location, traffic flow. You can change your map view, navigation voice preferences, etc. On the destination entry screen, we have quite a novel change for navigation systems on the market. Instead of making you follow a specific input method like most systems would, where you'd enter a house number first and then a street number next, or a city first, or whatever, here you can actually type in an address just as you normally would. So we'll do 123 Main Street. And you can see it's very fast because you're just typing it in. The system will then start searching for the address, and it doesn't matter whether you've spelled the city or the address correctly, it will attempt to correct that address for you. We don't have time to wait for that, so we'll just hit the exit button. It was fairly snappy, however. I used that several times, got something misspelled in there, and the system still figured out where I wanted to go. You can also enter a destination via the natural voice commands by hitting this voice button right here, or by the voice button on the steering wheel, and those voice commands are very easy to use. They're also probably the fastest way to enter an address into this system. Over on the phone interface, we have a fairly typical Bluetooth phone interface with a full dial keypad, which makes it easier to interact with IVR systems. Direct access button to our voicemail, recent calls, contacts. We have voice commands right over there. The phones button is where you can change which Bluetooth phone is currently paired with the system. Over here on the music and media tab, we have XM satellite radio, which is enabled at the moment. We can also hit the browse button. We can view our XM channels. We do have the ability to drag the little sliders in the system like that. You can also click over to categories if that's easier for you. Hit the exit button to get back to this entry here. We hit the menu button. This is where you can change your tone settings, tag songs, tune select, change volume settings, etc. If you want to change your source, you can hit the radio button again, or you can hit the media button to change to a media source. We do have 2 USB ports in this system, and just like the Cadillac Q system, when you plug in two USB devices, it actually merges the media libraries together, so it treats them as if it's one large media library. Same browse button allows you to browse the current playlist that you're on, or you can choose different playlists, different artists, songs, genres, etc. Everything in here is fairly snappy because it downloads all this information from your iPod or your USB media device right into the system to make these commands faster. You also have full voice commands of your USB or iPod device, sort of like Ford's Sync product. Voice commands worked very well in this system. Over here on the menu button is where you'll find your shuffle settings, tone settings, and auto volume, just like the other settings. Over here on the Pandora app, we have full Pandora integration with Buick IntelliLink. We can thumbs up, thumbs down songs. We have album art right over there. We can browse our Pandora stations via our Android or our iDevice phone. Over here on the menu button, we have bookmark artist, bookmark song as well. The system is very fully featured, but remember, since it does use your smartphone, you will be eating up your data plan on your smartphone, and you do have to be in cell service in order for this to work. Over on the weather app, we can see our weather delivered by XM satellite radio. We have hourly, 36-hour, and this multi-day format right here. If we had any weather going on in California, it would show that right on the radar map as well. Going back to the home button, we have access to OnStar via that little button there, but this OnStar app is just like hitting the OnStar button in your rearview mirror, so it doesn't give you additional features like you would find in Ford's Sync or certain other products where you can navigate certain OnStar services with this screen, so this really just calls OnStar for you when you hit that little button. Although it looks confusing because there are two phone icons, this phone icon right here is the voice command button for your paired smartphone. So right now I have my iPhone right here. If I hit the start button, you'll see that Siri will pop up on the iPhone right there. It works exactly the same way with any other paired smartphone that supports this pass-through voice control feature. Overall, I rank this one notch below Cadillac's Q system just because of the lack of the touchscreen and that proximity sensor, which really adds an extra level of feature functionality to Cadillac Q. This is fairly on par with MyFord Touch, My Lincoln Touch, as well as Chrysler's Uconnect product. Chrysler's Uconnect product is snappier than this product. That is one thing that I do have to say about this generation of Cadillac Q software, as well as the Buick and the Chevy versions of the same software package, is that they're just a little bit sluggish sometimes. So sometimes you press a button and you have to wait for the system to respond to you, especially when zooming in and out on maps. You can see this takes a decent amount of time. Also, the navigation graphics aren't quite as snazzy as the Chrysler Uconnect graphics. They're about on par with Ford's product line, however. Compared to the IntelliLink software that's used in the Verano as well as the Encore, I don't like this system quite as much. That Encore system and the Verano system is just a little bit snappier. It uses an entirely different software interface. It's not quite as fully featured as this system, but I do think that it's a little bit more intuitive and a little bit faster in terms of responsiveness. If you're debating whether or not to get this Buick IntelliLink system in your next Buick purchase, then I highly recommend it. Not only is the audio interface very well thought out, but the system is also fairly easy to use. I rank Cadillac Q just slightly higher because of that touchscreen, and I do wish that Buick had gone for that capacitive touchscreen, but as it is, I like this system and it's definitely something that I would get. Be sure to subscribe to our videos. Go ahead and click that title bar at the bottom of your screen. You can also find our full review of the Buick Regal coming up tomorrow. Just go ahead and click the subscribe button and you'll be notified on that, or find the information in the comment section or info section down below this video.